It's an amazing word, he says. If people would not kill this child in themselves when they grow up, when they're 50, when they're president, when they're anybody, that child is still there. That is the gift of God. It seems he is God. When man is born, in the beginning it is God. As he grows up, he turns into a man. Just don't kill that child. Because children are so simple. If people were like children, imagine. We did not have these big conflicts. All these things were so simple. But when you kill that child, which he says, I am, the Son of God. The sign of God is that simplicity, and you kill it. The implication of this word is big. It's like in the theory of evolution. They said a monkey turned into man. Man died. Monkey died and vanished, and the man became. Right, this word of Jesus says it's not so. Those who do this, then they believe in theories of evolution. Because they kill the child to make him to be an adult. He says, no, let the kid be there when you're growing up. It should be there. If it is not there, you are not human. You're not reliable. Just think about the implication of what this means. How much of our problem get resolved? The stress. All of these things can be solved if you understand this word, this magical word. I want to see who has brought anything like this. Except the prophets of God such as Buddha and Muhammad and Baha'ullah. But no ordinary man has ever done this. Look at the story of the Mary Magdalene. For God's sake, we are always judging everyone for everything. Before even they move an inch, you already judge him. Because as I said, TV, I call it Ayatollah TV. This is like Ayatollah in the West. It tells the people what to do. It completely depicts the picture. You want a violent man, this and that is a black color. One of the problem comes from this colored people. They depict it. And yet most of this crime against the children, rapings actually is happening by the white people in the West. Look at the data. So TV is telling them what to do. And they just judge. Oh, I saw this picture. This is not a good guy. Why? I have a feeling for it, he says. And they're often wrong. Jesus teaches the lesson, he says. This is that you call her prostitute. He looks at their faces and says, so she is, eh? If you haven't done what she's done, go ahead and throw the stone. He looks at their eyes. Most of them were guilty of it. They probably slept with her. They looked at his eyes and they knew they can't do it. He probably had seen them doing it. Jesus had no home. He was always outside. He could have seen them doing it, witnessing. But he said, I will not judge you. The authoritative manifestation of God. The transmission of God on the earth. He says that no, I don't judge you. Just don't do that anymore. You know, and she changed. See how positive look. Being optimistic and positive. What did it do to the life of Mary Magdalene? Did she become Maryam Mara? Maryam Namara. You know, it's big words she was. So we have to try to explain these things. The fact that Jesus did not have a father is not very important. Abdullah says, so Adam didn't have father also. He even didn't have mother according to the Bible. So must be bigger than Jesus? No. try to explain it. My own explanation of the issue is that the way God has worked through his universe, man has to have a father. If it was Joseph, there was no need. They could have married and have that. The genes of the Israelites were not enough to constitute the body and the throne of God, which is the body of Jesus Christ. For 1500 years, there was not enough genes to do it. It had to come a gene from somewhere else, perhaps from a Roman, whose semen was carried in the river and went into the body of Jesus Christ. But semens are made by God. It's not a man-made thing. It is the message of God. And she got pregnant without knowing it, because that marriage would have not been legal of an Israeli to a German, who doesn't believe in Judaism. But God needed that genes. So that gene carried like that into the water into her, because this child had to be speaking to the Romans. Okay. And clearly Jesus says right at the door, when mother and the children come, he says, what mother? What brothers and sisters? These are my family, referring to the disciples. It's not disrespecting Holy Mary or James or Yosi or any one of them. It's just trying to say that this relationship of the body, physicality, is not the issue. Something is bigger than that. How to deal with it, these things. I saw the documentary. What a fantastic job, people in Israel did that. Again, they did. Israelites are so fantastic in many ways that there was the movie of the tomb of Jesus Christ. Today, as an elder of Baha'ullah, elder of God, one of the 24 elders in the Bible, I actually certified that story. That is true. That is what it was. No one in the beginning believed in the story of the resurrection as it is right now. It just became later on a means the Romans would believe it this way easier and better. And God wanted them to become Christian, to see the Spirit of Christ and follow His words. Now, what a story they want to hear alongside of it, it doesn't matter. It worked like a catalyst. It's not a part of reaction. It's a catalyst. These stories are not a part of the reaction. So, but the truth of the matter is that, yes, that story is of the Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And it is of James and Yosi and Holy Mary. That is found in Israel, the tomb of Jesus Christ. That's the truth. Why don't we promote the truth? Or something that is useful? The disciples of Jesus Christ did that at the time they knew the reality and the truth to be told to people. They said, sure, love your neighbors, your enemy. We know these things. That would not move them. So they waited till the truth cooked by time and became legend, and they wrote the Bible. So that it became acceptable to people. Because you have to understand, this is the food that God is interested in, not the vessel, not the dish. We drink the coffee, not the cup. So anything that can hold the coffee is good enough. God has no qualm with that. What's your apartment? There are many things. If I want to say what Jesus has said, many verses, the greatest defensive system. When you deal with the violence, he says that do not react the same way. Don't be like a ball that when they throw it to the wall and just comes back. For any action, there is a reaction. That's in the physical world, he says. You're human. You're not material. Don't act and react like the way material do. You have soul in you. They hit you. Absorb it. Tell them, okay, go one more time. If that satisfies you, hit me again. So if it's the more cruel man in the world, so crazy, and he has thousands times more power than you. Hit you once, twice, 3 times, he'll go because you don't react. That saves your life. But if you start to fight back, you continue. I said that in my message to Israelites. Take the message of Jesus Christ. It works, if still after 2,000 years. Do not retaliate against your enemy. He says so, your master. Because when you retaliate, you give reason back to play the game of violence. Absorb it. Say that our people killed by you, but we're just going to defend ourselves. We are not going to retaliate. If people of Israel today, they take heed to this lesson, tomorrow the problem is solved. It will not take more than 6 months that the Palestinians, leaders or whoever claim to be their leaders, they know that Israel does not want to play the game. Everything will cool down and it stops. This is the miracle of Jesus Christ. This mechanism of what he says. These are the miracles. The system works, still works today. Okay? That's why it says love your enemies. Because that works. Look at another words. Oh my God. We see it totally in the laboratory of the practical universe it works. He says for a rich man, a wealthy rich man, to come to the kingdom of God is the camel to go eye of the needle. Which means quite, literally impossible. I said that before. One of these men in our time is Mr. Bin Laden. This man has given everything he had. His status is almost was the level of a prince, relative to the king. He left that glory, all of that. And believe me, he's not crazy. He just believes in what he says. And he went in desert, he went in cave, children, wives, everything. He sacrificed everything he had, his health, his fame, his security, his safety, his freedom. Finally, he gave the ultimate price, his life. Can you give more than that? And he was wealthy, they say close to $500 million. Did this wealthy man achieve the kingdom of God? No one is allowed to actually, by the new revelation of Jesus Christ, no one is allowed to judge him. No one. No one is allowed to judge anyone. Baha'ullah says, not even yourself. But I tell you, all the evidences shows that he did not actually attained unto the truth. He didn't. Because he ordered in his truth and his things to kill Americans. He doesn't understand God, Americans, Canadian, Arabs, this and that is not a category of God. That's not how God divides people. He divides them in male and female, maybe black and white. He likes the colors. Tall and, short, blue eyes, brown eyes. But he didn't call them French or Canadian or Americans, Argentine. No, these are our divisions, not his. Therefore, he died for his own truth. He died for his own man-made idea that he thought Arab and American is the division of God. God hasn't divided people into that. Sorry. That's your mentality, sir. So, again, his word is true. The rich and wealthy cannot go, he says to the other, to the kingdom of God. Now then we know, all the poor people of the world, like me and you, we are under the grace of God then. Because being wealthy, we can get it. So, this is just a little brief example.